the Unwavered Life podcast, where we have candid conversations on faith, love, and the weight that shapes us. I'm your host, Candace, and I'm so excited that you're back tuning in for my second episode. Today's episode was actually filmed during the Christmas holiday, but I'm just now getting around to posting it. So I'm excited that you're tuning in. Today's episode are my friends, Catherine and Patrick Dolan, and they're just going to share a little bit about their love story and how God brought them together, how their lives were so intertwined at such a young age without them even knowing. Remember, God is in the details. I love it, and I'm so excited for you guys to hear it. So without further ado, Catherine and Patrick Dolan, thank you so much for tuning in.
Well, thank you guys for coming. I'm so excited to have y'all. Y'all are my second couple that has come on, and I'm so appreciative. And I'm so excited to hear y'all's story. We can start off just a little bit of who you are right now.
Well, let's see. We're about to make 7 years.
7 years married.
Yeah, in March, which is super close. Now I'm thinking about it.
7 years is a good number.
Yeah.
Nice.
We'll probably get into numbers because we have lots of
significant numbers. Yeah.
Oh, that's
in our
awesome.
Relationship.
But let's see, we met like about a year before. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, sorry. I'm getting all distracted.
Well, as far as where we're at now, like I'm a stay-at-home wife with our dogs, and we have 2 dogs. He's a software programmer, so he gets to work from home. So we're at home
what a blessing.
all day, every day. Yeah. He actually got that position before COVID. So in
2 weeks, like 2 weeks before our wedding.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, y'all got married before COVID?
Yeah.
Right, 2019.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know this.
Our 1 year anniversary was COVID lockdown. So thankfully we really loved each other.
Yes. Oh, now I'm excited.
So yeah, we're home all day, every day together, as well as serving together at church. Be it sometimes I'm on the worship team. A lot of times we're doing production together.
It's so cool. Yeah. And I see every time I see y'all are just like 2 peas in a pod. It's like very chill, like y'all know each other well now.
Yeah.
Hearing that y'all have worked and been together at home, like nonstop, that is good. Because like you said, you have to love each other to do that.
Yeah.
And y'all are always smiling. Y'all are never like, I've never even seen you bicker or anything. It's just so sweet. So I'm sure y'all not perfect, but
yeah.
We're both not confrontational.
I love that.
I grew up with like my parents argued. They like arguing.
That was their thing.
Yeah. It wasn't like just that's how they just. Yeah.
His mom came from a debate background, and then his dad is very set in his ways. So like.
He also liked to pick on my mom or just us in general. And
yeah.
So, but it was never. I didn't care for that. I don't like the tension.
Yeah.
So.
We're both problem solvers, so it's like, okay, this is a problem. We have to talk about it and get this taken care of. Maybe not in the moment, but it's always I don't want to have the same argument again. This is not worth it.
Yeah.
Kind of people, and especially not taking it like our arguments and stuff to church or to friend's house. It's if we need space, we just won't like be as close going out, but it's not one of those like, you won't believe what he did today.
Right. Thank God though, really. That's a testimony to how a marriage should be. Not that you, in my opinion, not that you shouldn't be confrontational or your personality shouldn't be who you are, but the idea is that is something personal that y'all believe that to be sacred, and you're taking care of it. So you don't need to go up to your friend and be like, hey, listen to what he did. That's just not.
It's all about communication and finding a communication style.
Yeah.
Because in the very beginning, like I know for me, I was very, I would hold things in without knowing how to like verbalize.
Okay.
And wasn't that I don't think I would blow up, but I was just like, just
Like-
shut down, I
Mhm.
guess.
Yeah.
Uh,
At most, it was like slamming cabinet doors or being frustrated that this thing won't open or
Yeah.
like letting it out in little ways.
Yeah.
Or I have like an injury from a mandolin because I was mad.
Oh wow.
Yeah, trying to get it
Goodness.
to work faster.
Yeah.
That
Was it
was-
because you were mad at that thing or something
I
else
was-
that you were just kind of like
It's just
frustrated?
like it was a holiday time. I think it was one of those times I was bottling something in, and I
Okay.
was getting frustrated at I think it was an acorn squash that
Yeah.
it wasn't wanting to cut,
Oh.
and I was just trying. And then one ER visit later,
Oh.
I learned my lesson.
Yeah, I was like, had you just like communicated what was frustrating you, and because I told him like, and he didn't want it to be frustrating, and then got more frustrated that it was frustrating,
Mhm.
and I told him to, in the moment, I was like, just leave it, like I'll do it later,
Mhm.
and because he hadn't communicated, that came across as I don't want your help.
Right.
Until
Okay.
he got injured, and then it was, oh
I
no,
need
you
your help.
literally meant don't do that. It's not don't help me. It's I shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
And so then it was like that like aha moment of, oh, had you just said, well, what do you mean by that? It would have been like, well, I don't want you to get hurt.
Right. Would have saved you that ER trip, but
Yeah.
like you said, you learned your lesson.
And
Yeah.
that was only like 6 months into marriage. And so like it was a very major ER visit. And so that was like a huge shift
Yeah.
in our communication or
Yeah.
lack thereof.
I think that's right. Communication is important. I think every couple says that, and transparency and all the things. But speaking of all of that communication, so where were you before you met Patrick with the Lord? Were you saved? Were you not saved? And the same for you, Patrick, after,
I was saved. I had gotten diagnosed with leukemia at the age of 3. And my mom, she believed in the age of accountability. Like, if you don't understand who Christ is, you're not going to go to hell because you don't have that opportunity to understand. But she did, like, ask me, like, do you love Jesus and things like that. And so I was like, yeah, of course I do. But she had to, as I was getting sicker, she didn't want me to just be scared of the unknown. So
Right.
she, like, I had to kind of learn what mortality was at 3. And so I did later rededicate my life at 7, the age of 7, because I actually understood what it meant to walk with Christ. So I was just shy of turning 21, so I was 20 at the time, and had been walking with Christ for a while, but I was actually not in a good place.
Okay.
I have some physical limitations. I have diabetes, basically type 1. I'm on a pump. But at the time, it was more type 2. I was able to control it without insulin, but I also had chronic pain that kept me from getting a job. And because I was in like kind of a struggling to even get a job, I didn't feel called to go to college.
Okay.
Because I didn't know what I was going to study. I knew I wanted to do ministry of some sort, be very involved. At the time, we had just left a church. They had some people that came in that were not great. One of them said something that he was incapable of compassion. And I was like, this is not a church we need to leave. But I was actually leading a drama performance ministry.
Okay.
So that was when I was 18. So it was only 2 years since I lost my church. I lost my ministry. And I was trying to figure out where to go from there. And my parents were very like wanting to be supportive, but didn't know how. And so it manifested in you should do something with your life. Like you should push harder. You should do like this isn't the end. But it was always like this constant pressure. And especially with my dad not working all the time and not seeing how bad my health was, it came across as laziness. And so I had depression, I had anxiety,
Wow.
I I knew that I wanted to do ministry, and I knew God called me to be a wife.
Okay.
But I hadn't been on a date at that point. There was no one that like reached out to me or like stuck out to me that I'm like, yes, that's someone I should date.
But you're stunning, so I'm sure you had people probably like knocking on your door, and you're probably like,
due to health issues, I was on a medication that caused like drastic weight gain, and I was like, for anyone that understands, I was a size 20, and all my friends were like a size 6 or a size 4, so it was actually ignored for the most part. But there was no one I even wanted to pursue. They were very like immature in not only life but also in their walk with Christ.
Did you ever feel like, with all the situation or the issues that you had going on, did you feel like, even though you felt so called to be in ministry and be a wife, did you ever feel like you lost hope? Like, will this ever happen for me?
For sure, because where I was at, like, I didn't know at the time that my doctor was just very, he wasn't very knowledgeable. He said that I couldn't even get a driver's license with the medication I was on. It ended up being like every other medication where it says don't drive or operate machinery until you know how it affects you.
Yeah.
I later got a new doctor, and he's like, you're more of a hazard going around unmedicated than you are being on medication that helps you.
Yeah.
So, like, why would you be in agony trying to drive? That doesn't make sense.
Right.
So I couldn't drive myself. We hadn't found a home church yet. And I didn't when we left the church, I basically lost my friends because they were told by staff that a lot of things that weren't true about my family. There was a lot of church hurt there.
Gosh.
And so I just wasn't really sure what to do, but was just praying, God, like, at some point you have to show me what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
So I was in that waiting and hoping, and I know I'm supposed to be called to ministry and stay-at-home mom, but no prospects. And my parents were just kind of like, you have to do something in the meantime. And I'm like, I haven't been called yet. I'm waiting. I know it's coming.
Yeah.
So that's where I was at before we met.
What about you, Patrick?
I was in this lately. Like, I was, about a year out of college, I think, or 2. I honestly can't remember. But I was going to the church that I was going. Probably about 10 years I was at that church.
Okay.
Doing production, doing all the production sound.
Oh, wow.
Computer or the projection. I think something else, but
whatever they needed, right?
Yeah, basically. And kind of similar to Catherine, when I also went through chemo at 3.
Oh, wow.
Where I had cancer. And I don't remember too much around that time. I can't remember what. I know the church that we were going to was helping, help my parents or whatever, but I don't remember too much. What I do remember is I think it was around 6 or 7 I got baptized. Okay. And I don't remember too much about the. I just don't have a lot of memory between 3 and 5.
Okay.
I know we went to when I went to a private school, Victory Harvest, which was I think it was Baptist or non-denominational church and school.
Okay. Is that in Metairie?
No, it's I think near Sherwood.
Okay.
Or somewhere in that area. Again, I was only there for 3 years.
Okay.
Then my mom took me out to homeschool me, and luckily she did that because a year or 2 later I got re-diagnosed or relapsed with leukemia again.
That's crazy. Are y'all the same age?
We're 3 years apart.
He's 3 years old.
Yeah.
I see the numbers already.
Yeah.
Playing a part. Okay.
And but I do remember getting baptized. I think, like I said, around 7 or 8 at Victory, and that's pretty much my whole childhood, my whole adult life been in church.
Okay.
Normally helping production, even at Victory, they had a youth minister that his whole thing was having the kids actually do like the worship, the production, everything. And I remember learning about sound back then.
Dang, that's so cool. Starting young, getting to know it all.
Yeah.
So you were saved pretty much, like both of you were pretty much saved since a young age.
Mhm.
But then like, did you date a lot before? I mean, were you?
I was primarily focused on school.
Okay.
Through high school, we did band. I was very oblivious to girls.
Really? Well, I hear that's true from like a lot of guys. And I'm like, are they really oblivious, or it's just something that they just say? But
No, I was. I remember my parents being like, "Oh, she has a. Oh, did you see how she bat her eyes?" I'm like, "No."
Did you notice that girl noticing you? What girl?
Yeah.
You were very much it's not flirting. They're just being nice to me.
Yeah.
Aw.
I mean, there were girls that I liked, but I always grew up like I always dated for marriage.
Okay. With that intention. Got it.
So I didn't date for fun. I mean, that's what friends are for. So
Right.
So I did that through high school and college. I was mostly focused on studies,
Okay.
making sure I got my degree. And
But you were what's it called, remission?
yeah.
Okay.
So I was in remission starting or I stopped taking any chemotherapy at 12, I believe.
Okay. Wow.
But both of us, we would get like yearly checkups or something like that from the St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. And I don't remember my next thought.
No, that's okay. So you were in remission, and so you were in college, and you were just focusing on what you had going on.
Yeah, and then right after college, I already had a job, but then the flood happened.
Oh, wait, the 2016 flood?
2016 flood.
Okay.
I remember coming back from my senior trip with my family, and not even a week later we had that flood.
Oh gosh.
So
yeah.
that took up. We had 6 foot of water in our house, so we had to basically rebuild with.
Such a sad time for everybody.
Yeah,
especially.
Gotta learn a lot of things though. Learn how to do basically everything in the house.
Yeah. What about you, Catherine? Did you experience the flood too? I mean, did it affect you?
There was only one house I lived with my parents at the time, and there was only one house in the entire neighborhood that flooded. It just so happened to be our next door neighbor.
Wow.
Their house was built slightly lower than ours.
Okay.
So thankfully all the water just like flooded away from our house. Otherwise, yeah, we would have 100% flooded.
Yeah, my sister, she was down the road. Our neighborhood is a little newer, so it didn't flood. Like it came right up to the doors. And we have a pond out there, so it's like I thought it was just going to flood. But anyways, that flood. I was in Australia, and then I came here, and like just having the time of my life in Australia, and then came back to experience the 2016 flood. But I thought to myself, I was grateful that I was here, so I could like be with family and help them out and stuff. But fortunately, our house didn't get flooded, so my sister could do what she needed to do. But so then the flood happened, and then where were y'all? Like y'all hadn't met yet. Y'all were just about to meet, or because y'all met in 2019, right?
No, January of 2018.
Okay.
We officially, where I started texting her.
Yeah, how did y'all meet? Let's get to that part.
Yeah, so
I was high school friends with his now sister-in-law. So she was dating his brother at the time, and she had texted me before that I have the perfect guy for you. Um, but she was really vague about it, and then like nothing really happened from there. And then she later texted again, and she was like, okay, you need to meet him. And I was like, okay, well, what's his name, like, give me some details. And she was like, no, I want it to be totally blind. And I'm like, as an introvert, this is my worst nightmare. I understand you're an extrovert, but I don't like this idea. And she was like, and I want it to be a double date too.
Oh, wow. More pressure.
Yeah, so they can watch us the whole time. And I was like, oh. But she finally said, okay, it's the brother of the guy I'm dating. Well, I already knew him pretty well. They said that they were like dating in secret, but it was this one guy that kept showing up at girls' night. Like if we went to all girls went to a coffee shop, he would show up and talk to her the whole time. So it really wasn't subtle. Sorry if they're watching this, but we knew it was very obvious. He was so into you. And so I had met him once, like very briefly at one of her birthday parties. The whole family came. And so I knew enough to be able to find him on social media. But the joke was on me because he hadn't posted anything since high school.
Oh, wow.
So everything was like 5 to 6 years old.
Okay.
By that point.
So he's really young.
Yeah. Well, it was also like he had grown his hair out even longer than it is now and had like a really long beard. So I only knew like what his eyes look like really.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I guess this is going to be interesting.
But you trusted your friend enough to be like, okay, I trust her judgment a little bit.
It was also the first time anyone said, no, I know someone who is going to go like perfectly with you.
Wow. Yeah.
Because I never really had anybody like personality wise that gelled with me. Because by then I was off the medication that caused weight gain. I was about the like same size and whatnot as I am now. And so, but I was before I was plus size comic book nerd. Like I was so into Marvel comics,
wow, nice.
Art and creative stuff, and basically a drama, like Broadway obsessed kid. So there was no one that was ever like super into that. And so when she was like, no, I know of someone who's going to go perfectly with you, I was like, okay, I'm very curious now.
Right.
So she said that.
No, you ignored it.
Mm-hmm.
It
says I'm coming up. It is going off that I'm low, but I'm higher.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
She said that we were going to have a double date December of 2017, but it ended up that I had some health issues, one of which my pain went really high. I actually ended up in the ER, so I had to cancel.
I think it was a Christmas party actually, because I was there with Nick, my brother.
She didn't tell me where we were going to double date.
Oh, okay.
Did you know that y'all were going to double date, or were you oblivious to that?
She told me on the December one, but all the previous times, no.
Okay.
She said that she had someone that she wanted me to meet, and then got to the Christmas party. No, like. She's like, yeah, she couldn't come. I was like, okay.
Did you feel like she just had an excuse, like, oh, she just bailed, or did she have like her friend gave her a legitimate alibi?
I think she told me that she wasn't feeling well. Okay, and that's all basically that she told me.
Okay, were you bummed?
I think, yeah. Yeah.
I got to start this new year all alone. Just kidding.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, I remember being a little bummed, and then after now sister-in-law kind of just gave up. I was like, hey, can you just give me the number and I'll text her?
Okay.
I'll see how she's doing.
Yeah.
I think I did that like beginning of January. So it was a couple weeks, and I just said, hey, hope you're feeling better. I've been praying for you.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Mm-hmm. I got that, and I was like, he's the sweetest guy ever. He said, are you okay? I've been praying for you. I'm like, oh.
So were you better when you got that text?
Yes.
Okay.
I was extremely depressed, like missing it. Because also I was supposed to do a family thing a couple of days later, and like the family for some reason got upset that I wouldn't be there, even though they knew I wasn't feeling well. So I had like family drama going on. I couldn't make it was going to be my first date, and so having to cancel for something so far out of your control, and I didn't hear anything. So I was like, well, like
guess that was it.
That's it. Until the beginning of January, I got that text, and I was like, oh wow, like okay, he's still interested. That's a good sign, I guess.
And had you seen her, a picture or anything?
No, nothing.
Stop. Really? I mean, because you're beautiful, so I'm sure that would have been very motivating. But at the same time, you didn't see a picture and you were just like, oh, I'm just going to reach out to her.
I just knew her name was Catherine. That was about it.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Very
still
cool.
reached out and was like, I've been praying for you. And I'm like, he doesn't even know me.
Oh,
but
man.
he took the time to pray. And I'm like, oh.
Gosh. Okay, so how far after that did y'all actually go? So you reached out, and how did y'all finally get together?
So I kind of remember a little bit because it was near my birthday. My birthday is January 10th.
Okay.
And I think I reached out like on the 9th.
Okay.
And I don't remember how it came up because you later found out that it was my birthday or something.
We texted the night and on his birthday on the 10th, and he never told me it was his birthday.
Aww.
I wasn't gonna be like,
humble, right?
I was gonna be, hey, it's my birthday.
Yeah. But I also asked, so what are you up to today? And he was just like, oh, I'm spending time with family, and it was like so vague.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I didn't want to like push like, hey, it's my birthday, or anything like that.
Were y'all texting from that initial text? Hey, hope you're feeling better. Did y'all text like regularly after that?
Yeah, it was like once or twice a day.
So every day? Mm-hmm. Stop.
And of course, it was like an ADHD tangent where we had like 4 or 5 paragraphs of
different things. Like very separate conversations, just so we could talk about multiple things at once.
Yeah.
Okay, but a lot of times though, I do find that couples like that hit it off and like get together is they text. Like once they really do connect, they text like every day. And I'm always like, oh, I might be a big texter or not, but that's just interesting. But you were going to say, I'm sorry.
Oh, well, at the time, she would only text like once or twice a day, I guess, between like the medication or just how you're feeling. Also, I'm sure it was like a nervous.
I was on a medication that like would make me very drowsy at the time.
Oh yeah, right.
Because I was still with the doctor that was not very good.
Yeah.
At his job.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So it was only like once or twice, and so they would just like pack it with them, all that stuff, all the information of the day and stuff like that. And then I think we decided to meet. It was a few weeks later, I think end of January. Mm-hmm. And we met at Lee's Asian Fusion, which is off of 16.
Okay.
It was close to both of our houses. It was funny because I got there, I don't remember what time we told. And then I was there for a little bit, probably like 20 minutes. I thought I got stood up.
Really? Because were you there earlier than you
I
were
was
supposed
there.
to be?
No, I was there on time.
Okay.
Yeah, I was running behind.
She was running behind, but then there was radio silence. I'm like, this is how it feels to get stood up. But
she showed. Right. So you stayed there 20 minutes in still.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I think you text me.
Yeah, but I was there.
Or that you're like right at the red light or something like that.
Yeah. Because it's at an intersection basically. So I was like, I'm at the intersection.
Yeah. So at least I knew she was coming.
And then
he was relieved.
Because we didn't really know each other. He's like, I'm sitting at this specific table.
Wearing
because you only had to go by like that old picture that they have.
6-year-old picture.
Yeah. I'm wearing a green shirt. Check me out. Here I am.
And I said he had grown his hair out longer and had the really bushy big beard. And I show up and he's clean shaven. His hair's cut really short and spiked and swooped in the front.
Okay.
Totally different than any of his other photos. I'm glad he sent what he looked like.
Did you clean up for her, or you had been already
I was already like I was in IT, so I had to wear business
Okay,
casual
gotcha.
and stuff like that. I was actually making money so I could get a haircut.
Yeah. Okay.
It's also like a smaller
Very-
business, like a
Yeah.
really, really small business. So it was a lot of like client and direct interfacing.
Yeah. Yeah. So that makes sense. Got to be out in public in front of people.
Yeah. They had to be a little more presentable than just whatever you look like in college.
So were you like, oh, it's love at first sight, or were you like, where is he? I don't see him because of the.
I walked in, and it's a small restaurant.
So you couldn't miss him.
Yeah, it was. He said he was sitting at a specific booth, and they only have like a small set of booths in the restaurant tables. And so I walked in, and yeah, I was like, he is extremely cute.
Ooh.
Especially compared to like, his older college pictures or when he was a kid, and then you suddenly see someone grown up and like really dressed up. It was like,
And I'm sure y'all were nervous. Were you nervous?
oh, for sure. 'Cause
Okay.
it's not just like the blind date or first date. It's also introverted and trying to meet a new person and making sure you have topics to talk about and you don't just sit there in awkward silence.
I think initially we just like looked at like our text and be like, okay, we could just continue off of what we were saying on the text.
Well,
at least like to start the conversation.
Well, I was going to say that's the benefit that y'all had, that you had reached out, and so there was like a little rapport already building.
Yeah.
So when y'all got to see each other, it was like, okay, build on those texts. That's cool.
But I might actually back up just a tiny bit because like during the texting, we started connecting on Facebook, or at least like did the friend request, and then
Or was that after the first date?
No, it was definitely before, because so our moms noticed that they might have recognized each other.
Oh.
Our moms stalked each other's pages and like went into the parents' pages too.
Okay.
And they found like older pictures, so like from the 90s that they had posted as like throwbacks, and they're like, I know them, not as the way they look now, but I know them like from the 90s.
Oh wow.
And naturally their first thing was to ask us to text each other.
Okay, just to check, find out the information.
Well, like, did you go to this church? Did you go to this co-op? Were you at this homeschool thing? And we're like, we will gladly like swap numbers and y'all can talk directly.
Yeah, y'all figure that out.
No. I'll figure. It's fine. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Did you go to this thing? And I'm like,
I don't remember who first recognized it. I don't know if it was your mom or mine.
I think it was my mom.
But they realized that we went to the same cancer camp.
Oh.
And that specific year, they like ran out of chairs, or they like for
so
like at the end of it.
It's a day camp for kids with leukemia and their siblings. And so it would only be from like 7 a.m. to like 1 p.m. And they would go to like bowling or horseback riding and stuff like that. And at the end, they would have an award ceremony. So every kid would get an award. But it would usually be at a restaurant or something where all the families can get together and chat. And yeah, they like were so packed out at this restaurant, it ended up our parents sat at the same booth for that entire award ceremony, like 3 hours or whatever, and had talked the whole time about how similar their kids were.
That is so cool. That is so cool.
And so we actually have like some photos, especially like a big camp group photo where both I'm in it with my brother and Patrick's in it with his brother.
Oh, that's so crazy.
Yeah. And there was one that we're in the
bus.
Like
a Hallmark movie.
And there was one that in the bus, and they were like just taking random photos in the bus. But I was sitting right behind her, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was
so I look like I'm drugged because it was 7. We had to be like leaving at 7 a.m. So like we had to be there at like 6:45 and do check-in and then leave on a bus at 7 a.m. So I was like half asleep, and then it was like the old, because I was 6 and you were 9, and they had the old school camera that like the bright flash, and I'm just like, what are you doing? And Patrick's behind, just like, another photo.
Wow, that's so crazy. Very interesting. But it's fun to look back at that, like you guys almost like discovering a treasure or something, like, whoa, we're in each other's lives without knowing.
Yeah, the way they actually got the photos is they reached out to the camp and told them, "Hey, two of your former campers like started dating and just
God.
like re-met," and they're like, "Oh!" And so they dug through the
I would
archives
have
at
too.
their camp and like emailed it all to our parents.
Yeah.
So did y'all know, I'm not sure if you were saying this, but did y'all know that going into the date?
No.
No.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
Well, like
Well,
they had rediscovered it and like told us, "Hey, y'all met here," but I mean, I was 6 and he was 9, so
yeah, at the time we didn't
We-
have the photos.
and we didn't mix. Like at the time, boys had cooties and girls
Right.
had cooties, so there was always a huge split where all the girls would hang out and all the guys would hang out.
Yeah.
And so we had no idea. It was just our parents that remember talking and being like, "Wow, our kids are so similar."
Yeah.
Yeah, because because we're 3 years apart, and as I was finishing up treatment, it was just like maybe 6 months to a year that she started treatment. So I finished, and then she would start.
Okay.
And then since I relapsed, like 3 years after she got diagnosed, so I relapsed as she was finishing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Just
we were
missing
never
each
at
other.
right at the.
We were never at St. Jude at the same time. We just happened to be at this camp, which was in Baton Rouge. That,
For the same group of people. Yeah. Wow.
Mhm.
So once at the date, what happened?
I was extremely nervous. Not only, like I said, introvert, first date, and like first date ever, but also having to be that awkward person. Like, "Hey, I'm diabetic. How much sugar does this have?" And like, I try not to be that. Oh, I can't have that because that's not good. Like, just trying to play. Like, this is who I am, but also please don't be scared that I have to make so many allowances and like stress about it. Because I at the time I thought I was type 2, which you have to basically cut out all sugar.
Wow.
And so I was like, "Yeah, I'm diabetic. I'm gonna be a little bit trying to order." And he was like, "So?" I was like, "Okay."
So when you saw her, did your jaw drop? Were you like, oh,
yeah, I remember being extra nervous.
even more nervous when you saw her? Or
yeah, I mean, she was so beautiful. So
yeah.
Definitely. I mean, again, like we had the Facebook link, so I saw I think some older photos, but it wasn't. Yeah,
Most
nothing
of mine
recent.
were like 2 years old because like we didn't have a church and we didn't really have events to go to, so I wasn't like a everyday poster. I was more like a big event poster.
Oh, but you had a chance to see it before too as well. A little bit.
Yeah, just like Facebook photos. That was basically it. And I think at the time her profile picture was just her eye, so got to see her.
I had so it was when we got our family dog and it was like really cold. We got her at Bay St. Louis, and so I put my dad's hoodie on backwards and like tied the strings and put her in there. And she had put her little like snout over the edge, and so I had like buried my face, and so it was just like this puppy head and like right here.
So we have about the same reference.
I know, that is too funny.
About the same amount of reference.
A lot of similarity indeed.
But yeah, I remember her walking up, and yeah, at first I was stunned, and then I was like, wait, let me make sure this is actually her.
Right.
Then
how long did that date last?
We stayed a while.
Yeah, I think. Well, we stayed till closing.
Yeah.
So I think
just talking.
like from 7 to 10, so it was like 3 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, at the time, it wasn't like it was a date, but it wasn't because we just were like, at least we'll have a friend.
Right.
Yeah, it was a get to know you more than a date.
Right.
Because I think the word date at the time would have scared both of us off.
Okay.
Yeah, trying to be like, have a romantic date with someone you don't know is just, no.
I know, that is kind of weird, but at the same time, it's just like, hey, I'm just going to get to check you out, get to know you.
Yeah. Then I think think about every weekend we went and did something.
Wait, but when y'all left that, not date, but introduction, what did y'all feel? Like, what was your thoughts when you left? What were your thoughts when you left? Did y'all text each other right away?
It was at the time, like I said, my doctor was crazy and thought I couldn't drive myself. And so Patrick actually drove me home.
What? That's a date, bro.
And I remember like awkwardly getting out and just being like, how do I end this? Thank you for everything. Good night. Like awkwardly went inside. And I don't know if you remember, you texted me later that night and was like, I'm so sorry I didn't walk you to the door. And I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that. It's okay. And he was like, I didn't think about it either, but my parents kind of reamed me out for not walking you to your door.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I do remember them like, hounding me that I didn't walk you to the door. I at least made sure you made it through the door
You didn't
just
leave
before backing out.
Yeah, you didn't just up and leave.
Yeah, that was.
So y'all had just really never dated anyone else but each other, like at this point, obviously. Okay.
We'd never, like, I had one crush growing up, but nothing came of it. And you had one, like.
I went to a school dance with her. But that was about the extent.
Yeah. So it really was like a first date ever, as well as a blind date and to get to know you. And so the pressure was extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know you said that, you're oblivious to girls, and you were just like, well, the idea that you had was if you do pursue a girl, it would be with intention to get married. So the fact that, obviously this wasn't a date is what y'all are saying, because y'all were just like, hey, that's a little intimidating. We're just trying to get to know each other because none of us have done this, and y'all put value on intentionality. So, okay, I think that was good.
In a way, like looking back on it, yes, it's a date because it worked out. But at least I shouldn't say that it worked out, but the intention was at least to have a friendship.
We knew we liked each other enough to keep the other person in our lives.
Okay.
But we weren't going to put pressure of trying to make it a romantic relationship.
Okay, that's very good.
Because it was one of those, like, you start texting someone, and some people have had it and some people haven't, but when you start just like getting to know a little bit of someone, and you're like, this person's going to be my best friend. Like, had everything in common type of thing. And we grew up in such extremely unique circumstances, like being homeschooled our whole lives pretty much, going to St. Jude, like even talking about that, we're like, oh, we have the same nurses, like we know the same nurses, the same favorite places in the cafeteria, because theirs is like all different restaurants in the cafeteria. And it was just like, this is the best friend I've been waiting for.
Wow, yeah.
Because like for me, by age 12, I spent half my life in a hospital. So most of my childhood was in a hospital. And that's hard to connect with other people. Like maybe more as adults now, they can probably understand, but like especially growing up, it's like you don't really understand like how many things they have to like
it causes you to grow up so much faster than every other child. And so you just feel like you either feel like everyone is just way too immature to like really connect with, or it's that like, wow, I kind of forgot how to be a kid in this instance type of thing.
Yeah. Goodness.
We had a lot to connect, and
I think we started texting even more.
Yeah, it wasn't like just twice a day.
So how long did y'all date?
6 months.
Yeah.
6 months?
Before he proposed.
When did you know? Well, obviously your parents were big fond of each other. So you didn't have to like worry about parents not liking you or family members not approving. How did y'all know, hey, this is the one I want to spend? Because you were saying y'all are just going into this, and if anything, friendship. How did y'all know? When did y'all get to that point?
So back or like we were texting and like, we would meet up like once a week after like the work week. Continue texting, and then
We were actually like every other day we would alternate whose parents' house we had dinner at.
Okay.
And then weekends were solo dates.
Okay.
But
Oh, so y'all spent a lot of time with y'all's family.
yeah,
Oh,
we had
that's
dinner
cool.
together every single night of the week.
yeah.
I love
I
that.
think up till that was right after February, I think.
You asked
Like,
me to
yeah.
be your girlfriend February 3rd.
Okay.
And how many months was that after? Oh, wait, you asked around January, right?
Yeah, like we had that first date in
We
somewhere in
had
January.
2 regular dates. So we had the first meeting when we went to the movies, and then the third one, he actually booked tickets to go to a Sherlock stage play, which he knew I love Sherlock Holmes. I read all the books, and
What movie did y'all watch on your first date? Just curious.
so the first official date we went and saw The Greatest Showman.
Okay.
Because he grew up doing band and I was like a drama Broadway kid, and so we're so excited, and it ended up working. We started listening to the soundtrack and like doing duets in the car all the time after that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, February 3rd, I asked you to be my girlfriend. Yeah, we went to La Madelaine's and stayed a little too long, so we had to rush to because my original plan was to ask you out, which in hindsight would have been bad, but like I was going to ask you to be my girlfriend at La Madelaine's. But that then if it didn't work out, then I had something else planned, so that would have been really bad. So luckily, hindsight, it was. We went to La Madeline, stayed a little too long. Then we had to rush over to the play, and then I was just like trying to process. Okay, when do I ask?
Yeah.
So that was like literally the last moment because it was at the door.
You walked me to my parents' door, and then you asked me.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, I will on one condition. You have to meet my dog. And does my dog like you?
Okay.
And then I didn't realize Patrick had a superpower that all pets love him, like think he's the coolest thing ever.
Okay. We have to put that to test.
Yeah. But I let her meet him, and she was like, this is the greatest human ever. And I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Very cool. So that started y'all's journey.
Yeah. Then it was we dated for about 6 months. Well, it was like right before because we our whole dating was intentionality.
Mm-hmm.
I think on the second official date
after the movies, yeah,
or whichever one, we just had like a conversation in the car and it was like, hey, this can't go any further because like I knew from all the chemotherapy I couldn't have kids.
Okay.
So I was like, I can't. I don't want to continue pursuing you as to be my wife if you want kids.
Mm-hmm.
Adoption, sure, but biological through us would not be an option.
Okay.
Yeah. So second date, it was like hey, we can't date if you want kids, and I was like, okay, that's good because I've known since I was 6 I can't have kids.
Oh, really?
And have to adopt.
Was that for the chemo too?
Yes.
Okay.
So St. Jude is a research hospital, and so everything they do is research, and so a lot of times there are side effects or like drugs that they find out, oh, this is too harsh to use, shouldn't have done that, in return for saving your life for free. So it's a great trade, but yeah, they were like, no, we attacked your leukemia way too harsh.
Wow.
And so I knew since I was 6 I couldn't. And then I was like, all right, since we're doing like do's and don'ts, your thoughts on like severe depression and anxiety, like I was coming from a like hopeless place. And that, sometimes I do have spirals and that like, that can lead to suicidal thoughts and stuff like that. I was like, you have to be aware that that's just a part of me and something to like watch out for, especially in the situation I was in. And I don't remember exactly how you responded, but you were like that's a part of you. That's not something. I'm not gonna like pick and choose things I like about you. Like I'm gonna accept you as a whole.
That's very
And
key. It's
so
important.
by the second date, we were already like, all right, as long as nothing major comes up, like everything's aligning.
I want to stop right there real quick because I think that is such a key point. And as a single girl, I think I forget that, and many people forget that as well. That originally you're looking for like the right person. You want to be equally yoked, and you have a criteria, and they have a criteria, and you're just trying to like choose wisely. But then we forget that you are an individual. We're an individual. That there's, I guess, different things. Like I love that you said you're not, that you probably said I'm not just going to pick and choose what parts of you I love or I like or I'm going to deal with, because things can come up later on in life that you don't know. Either of you don't know that it's just part of life. But that's just a beautiful reminder to be like, hey, that's an individual, that's a person. They're molding and changing and they're trying the best. But you can't just nitpick, be like, I don't like this about you. I mean, if you're going to be that way, then obviously you need to get out of that relationship. But any person you find, there's going to be things that you may not be so fond of, but it's just a good reminder for me. So thank you for sharing that point.
And it was also like conveying where I was at because I'm like, I didn't have really any self worth because it was I can't hold down, I can't get a job. Like most stay at home jobs, they want like college degrees and all this stuff. And I had like kind of lost my ministry, and so it was just like I basically being like, all right, if we are gonna date, you have to know that like right now I feel like a very broken person, and I'm working on it, but I'm I don't feel whole. I don't feel like I'm in the best place as far as introspection and my worth. Um, and that basically I'm being honest that of how much of a work in progress I was at the time. And so it was huge that he was like, I don't mind being your support system. And that basically what he saw just in the little bit of time we had known each other was like worth working with and working on and helping support.
And I know that maybe depression, some of the things that you were dealing with can stem from so many different things, but was that partly because of what you had experienced with like your diabetes and the chemo and the cancer and the weight gain from the medicines?
It was part of that, but also just feeling the pressure from family of what are you going to do with the rest of your life and having a calling but no way to achieve it.
Okay.
But they also weren't giving you opportunities to achieve it either.
Yeah, no,
So-
my dad was very much a let me see results, but I'm not going to help you get any of it, even though you're not able to do it yourself. And so there just really wasn't any opportunities to grow or do anything with myself, but I was getting told that I was failing because I wasn't doing it. And it was just a miscommunication all around, as well as some toxicity from my dad. It wasn't until like he left that I realized how much of what he said and like put me like try to put down my self-worth was just to make himself feel better. It wasn't actually a reflection on my actions or what I was doing.
Wow.
But it actually, Patrick was huge and instrumental in helping me see that. He's like, okay, so you didn't go to, like, if you went to college, what would you go for? And I'm like, I don't know. He's like, how would you pay for it? Because you don't have a job. Well, would your dad do it? And I was like, no, my dad said we were always tight and didn't have money. He's like, so then why is it your fault? And it was just like, he did a lot to help me see my self-worth. And
that's good.
Not only in Christ, because you can know without a shadow of a doubt you have worth in Christ, but it's hard to acknowledge that when other people aren't seeing it. And so having my self-worth reflected through the eyes of someone else was
Wow.
absolutely
Huge.
life changing.
Yeah.
And soon after dating, because you didn't have a church at the time, your family didn't have a church at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So they invited you over to our church for Patrick, and we would go every Sunday.
Yeah.
I was production.
He would drive over, pick me up, and bring me to his church and run production. Or
Was it because you weren't driving yet?
yes.
Oh, okay.
Well, COVID happened. I got a new doctor. He said you can drive, and then COVID happened.
No need to drive.
Yeah, and then life together. We're always together.
Yeah. Makes sense.
We don't have a car, so it's not super urgent.
Doesn't make sense anyway.
Yeah, we go. So we establish going to church together.
Yeah, worshiping together and also serving together because they had a very small production booth. And Patrick would set everything up, and there was an older lady that used to run the computer to do lyrics and stuff. But when I joined, she was like, I'll just run worship while you help Patrick with sound, and then I'll go sit with my husband, and then y'all two can just you can run the sermon notes. And
Yeah.
so we would always sit together and serve together since the very beginning.
Yeah, because since it was so small, I was the only person that really run production. It wasn't like church became
Right.
lots of people.
Yeah, it was only a congregation of 60 people.
Mm-hmm. Did your mom start going to that church as well?
No, they found one closer, and her and my brother still go there to this day.
Now, you mentioned your dad leaving. We don't have to deep dive into that, but just to kind of talk a little bit about it. Did he leave before or after?
No,
After we got married, around 2021 or 2020.
Yeah, 2021. And actually, in 2023, it got to the point where my brother and my mom moved in with us.
I remember you saying that.
And they lived with us for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
A year and a half, I think, somewhere around there.
I was just trying to gauge if, because they say that daughters need their fathers, and they're very instrumental in their lives and impactful and things like that. And you did have them, but it wasn't maybe till later, till you were older and mature to understand that, possibly he meant well, but it wasn't necessarily the delivery or the way he did that really helped you.
It was
in many ways.
Getting to know Patrick, I realized that there was a lot of areas where my dad just didn't put in the effort. He apparently was a doting father, and then when I got diagnosed with leukemia, it was a great shock, and he checked out and was going through the motions. But then, now granted, at the time when my mom told me this, she was trying to defend, you need to understand, but me getting better shouldn't have been a reason for him to be less of a father.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was very hands off, and
almost like he already accepted her death.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was weird because it was always I'm too tired from work to do anything with you, and then weekends, well, that's my only time to chill, so I can't do anything with you. And it's I asked you to watch a show with me.
Gosh, I'm sorry.
But Patrick kind of filled that role of man of the house that I never had, the taking the lead, hey, let's go to church together. Let's make sure you have a church home. Praying, holding hands every time we prayed, making sure we prayed together.
What I think is beautiful about that is that God knew that you needed that.
Yes.
And it wasn't you looking for it, desperately seeking some type of affection from some man or anything like that. And which is valid,
Yes.
if people go through that. But God just knows what everyone needs and just the similarities and how to bring two. Are you introvert as well?
Mm-hmm.
Two sweet introverts just together and how to help each other out. And I think it's just beautiful. I'm always in awe okay, God knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
If we just let him have the reins and just, bring it all to him, but continue.
Yeah. Looking back on it, God was definitely like, you have such a skewed view of yourself and idea of yourself, and it it was definitely a godsend that like sent Patrick to be like, no, you need to see your self-worth. You also need a church home. You need someone who's gonna guide you in your faith. Like make sure there's someone there to pray with you. There's someone there to hold your hand. There's someone there to be able to vent about the latest family event or drama, and being like, you're not crazy. Like this situation is crazy. Like don't let especially there were people in my life that kept like gaslighting me, like, oh, you shouldn't feel that way. And it's like, you're allowed to feel however you want. It's your actions based on those feelings that you have to watch out for. And so
Yeah.
there was so much that I learned from Patrick. Even just everyday life, like how to properly fix things that break. Like there was so much I didn't know that I needed in my life, and God just filled it one by one.
That's so cool. Man, I'm still blown away by y'all similarities. That is just, it's crazy. And I mean, even when I see, like I said, I always see y'all together, obviously, but like y'all seem like good friends. It doesn't seem like, oh, I'm just a little aggravated today with him or her, Y'all just seem very peaceful, very, always like on each other's side. Like I know you mentioned to me, certain things that might occur through the certain seasons of your life, and that could, be a lot of, not a burden, but like a weight to you guys. But the fact that y'all seem like y'all are on the same side all the time, like just, I don't know, it's beautiful. It's, yeah, something to achieve for sure.
We definitely had like a lot of trials through our marriage because we got married. So speaking of numbers, like we purposely picked March 3rd because 3-3 and 2019 was, I found out later, it was divisible by 3.
Yeah.
So
he asked me to be his girlfriend on February 3rd. He's 3 years older than me.
So we intentionally did all that. Where there were some talks about like having to push the marriage or the wedding, because of funding, because her dad or her parents had to pull everything together.
My dad also never apparently saved anything towards my future.
Okay.
So it wasn't until after we got engaged that he started putting money together for a wedding. So there was that.
My parents also, they did try. They kind of said, okay, we can either take the wedding or you could like help pay for the honeymoon or something like that. And her parents really wanted to pay for the wedding, just the traditional way.
Right.
So my parents paid for our Disney cruise for the honeymoon, which was also really awesome for us. But a year later, we had COVID. A year later, after that,
parents split.
And then
a year after that, they moved in with us.
Yeah.
Plus, she also had some health complications through the whole thing. She was turning from
type 2 to type 1, which meant my pancreas was dying, like completely quitting. And they're like, yeah, they're both diabetes, but type 2, you cut out all sugar. Type 1, you like need to make sure you have like carbs and sugar, otherwise you're going to tank. And so it was like unlearning things.
Wow.
So there's a lot of trials, but it also all started like knowing he was the one for me it was at church. There was a sermon that the pastor did on what is a godly blended family.
Okay.
So whether you adopted, whether you have stepkids, like how do you harmoniously blend a family, and what does a blended family following Christ look like? And so it was all the qualities of a godly family, or a family pursuing God in everything they do. And I remember I was doing the sermon notes, and all of a sudden, like clearly after the pastor had listed all the godly qualities of a family seeking after Christ, I clearly heard God say, Patrick will give you all those things.
Wow.
And so I start like tearing up. I'm like, I'm gonna marry him.
Oh.
And so that.
And how long have y'all dating at this point?
I was about 4 months in.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Since we met and started dating.
But you sensed that from the Lord, and you just felt like that assurance, like, okay, this is a solid, good choice.
Yeah, like there's no need to even consider dating anybody else. And the weight of, oh my gosh, God is saying we're not going to break up. Like, as long as he's following after Christ, we're not going to break up. This is going all the way. And like giving, the reason I was so emotional was it was God saying, here's what you've been waiting for. Here's the path that you've been begging me for.
Wow.
Here's your way of being the stay-at-home wife, the someone you can do life with, but also do ministry with. Like, here's everything you've been begging me to show you.
Wow, that's so cool. That's so cool. When did you know?
Trying to, because I'm more logical.
Okay. Yes.
I'm very black and white.
A lot of guys are, so that's normal.
Yeah. Plus, being a programmer, we make it worse.
And plus, like, you're one of those that doesn't like distinctly hear God's voice. It's more you see God in like signs and actions.
Yeah. Okay.
So I knew like I had to support her. Our personalities matched. Again, like second date, the deal breakers.
Right. Those were solid.
Already went through. It was probably roughly around then, because I do remember that sermon too. And I remember, that I could, like we both could match and do, we could be the godly blended family.
You could visualize our life together.
Yeah, thank you.
But was that like not during that message? You were just kind of already on that boat, like
I was already but I think soon after we started looking, because we were already talking. I was like, okay, like when do we?
Soon after that message, or soon after like the second date? Like
I'm sorry, after the message.
Okay.
We started saying, okay, like how long would you want to date someone? Because we both didn't care for dating in general, so we're like,
how long would you want to date before solidifying I'm going to marry this person, or they're not the one? Specifically.
Like, and then engagements. Started talking about like how, because I had a coworker that was engaged for like 9 years. We didn't care for long engagements.
Yeah, 9 years. Wow.
Yeah.
No.
And some people just don't like weddings. They don't care for that. But to each their own.
Right.
But we were talking about like that, and then we were like, okay, so we discussed like the 6 months is when
you should know, is this the right person?
Yeah, and be ready for engagement.
I like that.
So right around like month 5, we started looking at rings. I already kind of had like, okay, I was already trying to plan how we're going to do the engagement, because we both wanted our families there.
And also at the 4 month around that sermon was like when we actually started more physical affection, like hugging. It was also when we shared our first kiss. Like we had finally felt like, oh, this relationship is going
in
far.
That direction.
Like, like it's headed in the right way, because we didn't want to rush to anything. So it was like 4 months of seeing each other every single day before we even shared our first kiss or became comfortable. Like, goodbye hug.
It seems like y'all were pacing it really nicely.
Yeah, because we didn't like the I kiss dating goodbye, where
Right.
there's no affection till marriage, because I'm like, I don't want to rush into everything all at once.
Yeah.
And so it was like we even had discussions like, okay, when do we share our first kiss?
Mhm.
It,
Okay, but right there, I mean, I don't know. I've never really been in relationships, but I think that just shows the communication because that's what you want. You want to be able to communicate, not just assume the other person's ready and you're ready, and then you just go for it versus we can talk about it.
Yeah.
You know? I love that.
Yeah, it all goes back to like trying to make sure we had sound communication.
And also boundaries.
Yes.
Healthy boundaries.
Yeah, and they're not afraid to like making sure that everything was still a safe space, like that it wasn't anything was off the table, conversational wise.
Like there was even one time like I was losing weight, so like I was wearing like a scoop neck tank top, and we were sitting together, and apparently it got too baggy, and Patrick's like, okay, it like showed some cleavage. I'm not comfortable with that.
Okay.
Like I don't even want anything remotely near temptation. So can we maybe not wear that top, or at least around me, because
I love
I
it.
don't want to be
I love
tempted
it.
like that.
Way to go, Patrick.
Yeah,
Way to go.
I was like,
Because some guys won't say anything. They'll be like,
yeah. And of
but
course,
I love it.
yeah, stuff like that. I'm like, that's so hot.
I love it. No, that is so cool.
Yeah.
Because y'all had y'all's mind on the goal. The goal is to be with each other, to do it God's way, let God bless your marriage, and live that life and all that He intended. It's beautiful.
Yeah. But it's just all, we, like I said, just try to make sure we had good communication.
And like even with the ring shopping, my mom and his mom, they took me to 2 different places, and I picked out like 3 different engagement rings.
Okay.
They didn't pass to him, so like he 100% knew he would be able to pick one I loved because it was one of the ones
3,
I had picked.
I think there was a couple I actually could, because they would go there and when I was working, or sometimes I would try to meet them after work, because both our parents didn't work at the time, so they could just.
Well, our moms, did.
Yeah.
Which is a blessing because then now you have that.
Yeah.
Like God used that time.
But it was actually went to 2 or 3 different places, and there was only one that he like really joined us for the whole time, and that was he ended up picking one of the rings from there, which was really special.
But with the whole 6-month thing, that the only downside to that was I was like, well, how am I going to surprise her?
Oh.
Yeah, because it was like, I only want to date for 6 months. Like you're either the one or you're not at 6 months.
I think we said
So
somewhere around 6 to 8 months is how long we wanted to date.
Yeah.
We didn't want to go much further, like past that, without like knowing that.
Because we were seeing each other every single day. So every single day for 6 months, I'm like, I think that's enough time to figure out.
100%. 100%. Especially with the conversations y'all were having. It wasn't like superficial or surface level.
Yeah. So I ended up doing it like the week before our 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah. Like we were going to make 6 months August 3rd, and he proposed July 29th.
I was like, well, this is the only way I can surprise. So planned a whole New Orleans trip.
Were you surprised?
Both families. Yes, I was very surprised. So we had wanted to go to the French Quarter to take pictures at some of the historic things, but my mom had been wanting to go. There's a couple of restaurants she liked, and she was like, no, that's not fair that y'all would go and have this whole day without us. Like, we have to go as a family. That's the only way we're going. And that was like 3 months before they planned it. So finally they planned it, and she was like, let's just invite Patrick's parents too, because like we're all going. So I was like, okay, sure. And they're like, how could you not know? And I'm like, because you haven't stopped talking about a New Orleans trip for 3 months. He wasn't even planning to propose 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So we did a whole New Orleans trip.
We specifically went to the mall in Metairie because they had a Disney store at the time.
Oh, gotcha. Wow.
And I knew that she also didn't want to be just in a casual, so I made sure they had a tea room over there. So I was like, okay, you need to dress up for the.
It was high tea. So
yeah.
It was like fancy.
Yeah, so I was like, you need to dress up, because I knew that would be like like I think you mentioned some friends that got engaged and they're
She
just
was in like
t-shirt.
They were
a ratty
unprepared.
t-shirt and jeans and like beat up sneakers, and I'm like, I like hadn't even gone to the salon to get their nails done or anything, and I'm like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
But me and my mom would always go to the nail salon once a year, and so when she was like, oh, it's time, I didn't think anything of it.
Right. It's normal.
Yeah. So, yeah, definitely coordinated with her parents.
Good job,
My
Patrick.
parents. I remember like having to like just take phone calls and trying to plan everything out. That was hectic, and trying not to try. I'm also very bad at. I'm not bad at keeping secrets, but I also
He
am.
can't lie. Like he
I
hates
have-
lying.
I'm not very good at like a poker face.
Hmm.
If you ask me a very direct question, if I answer you dishonestly, you'll know.
Right. Totally logical for you to answer it correctly. Like,
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah. So keeping that, making sure I only did it at work when we weren't together, that was hectic.
Were you nervous that day?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I
was so
rode with
nervous.
him to New Orleans. It was just me and him in his car, and I didn't think it was a proposal because, like I said, there's so much like leading up to it. But I was concerned about him because he was very quiet.
Okay.
I had to initiate all the conversation, which was
Weird.
because we're both at the time we were both like unmedicated ADHD, so we would like ping pong and for him to just like be very quiet, and when I do engage, he stays exactly on topic. I'm like, I hope everything's okay. I think I even asked you, like, you doing okay? And you're like, yeah, I'm just a little tired. Hadn't been up late the last couple of nights, which we had been texting late, so I was like, oh, okay.
It's one of those things I kind of remember. Okay, you gotta be normal.
But he's
When
in
you
his
think
head.
that,
You're in
not
your head.
normal.
You're right. Once
Like-
you get in your head, you're like,
Normal.
I'm like,
playing it cool.
and I mean, even like, and I also know like New Orleans is not my favorite place, but it had this story. It was like
Right.
So, yeah,
Had that magical element.
It was
always
like
He got the store involved.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
remember calling them and yeah,
It was cool. His mom was like, all right, I prepared a Disney scavenger hunt. So it'd be like quotes from different Disney movies. You had to go find a product from that movie. And so it was me and Patrick against our brothers. And they laughed at me because I'm like, all right, challenge accepted. Let's go. And they were like, we told them to lose on purpose. And it was like, so you weren't competing against anyone. I was like, well, I didn't know. Also, it was both our younger brothers, so like it's like, yeah, let's own them on this. But of course, Patrick was so nervous. He was just like, I don't remember what movie that was from. I don't remember what movie that was from.
Yeah, because my mom did make the whole thing and didn't tell me the answers. So that probably made me a little more nervous. But we had this whole thing why we were going to win because they had 3 questions. And I'm trying to.
They were all romance quotes or from like movies with romance in it.
But she would take a photo, and I had these little signs.
Oh yeah, like little chalkboard signs on a stick.
Oh, cute. I have some of those. I'll show you.
Whenever I was taking a picture of the product, like prove I had it, he was holding one up.
Okay.
And it got to the end of the 3 pictures, and it said, from Pokemon, I choose you.
Oh, that's adorable.
Because for Valentine's Day that year, I had made him a Valentine's card, and I actually like drew the Pokemon and stuff on
cute.
it.
I love that.
That said, I choose you. And he still has it, but it ended up like his mom was like, oh, that's cute. Let me read it. But it was a letter to him of like how much he meant to me and just how supportive he had been. And so that's why he did the I choose you in the proposal.
Oh, that's perfect.
And then they got to the end, and of course we won. though apparently both brothers were so confused they didn't have to like lose. They were like, I don't know any of these movies. And it was a plaque. I don't remember the exact words on it, but it was just like once in a while, a true fairy tale romance comes along, or a true fairy tale comes along. And I have it on one of our shelves. And as soon as I read it, he took my hand, and that's when I knew it was a proposal, because he never just like grabs my hand and holds it like that in public. I'm like,
Did you get on one knee and all the thing, or is that like just a myth people do?
He did this. He did a speech first, and then he dropped to one knee.
Yeah, and I had a little. So she liked collecting pops, and we still collect pops, but
Pops as in soda pops?
Sorry,
pop Funko Pop figurines.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so sorry.
Like bobblehead looking.
But we got one of Mushu, because Mulan was one of her favorite Disney, and then Mushu.
His mom had randomly asked me, like, what's your favorite Disney sidekick? And I was like, Mushu.
Clearly.
So we got a Mushu
and it came
pop
with
figurine.
a tiny little cricky.
Yeah, and so I made a little sign, and I got like the Disney script and said, "Will you marry me?"
Yeah, Mushu was wearing the little sign.
Oh, that's so cute. Specific.
Yeah.
I love it.
And then that's when he dropped to one knee, and I was like, oh.
Were you crying, Catherine?
I almost did once he put the ring on my finger, but I'm also like, I'm more of a frustrated crier, so I did get very emotional when I knew he was the one, but I was so overwhelmingly happy.
Yeah. And did you say yes right away, or just so the shock kind of took you? You know, some people are like, you haven't said anything yet.
He did a speech about like how much I meant it to him and how he knew I was the one that God had for him before he dropped one knee, and so that kind of like gave me
that time to think about it.
Yeah, and so be able to say yes immediately. But the Disney store was so big, it actually had an indoor gazebo.
Oh, cute.
And he proposed inside the gazebo.
I don't think I've ever been there.
And it wasn't until afterwards that we looked in the picture, and the employees had put a Mushu in the little rafters above us.
Oh, it's cute. Yeah. Y'all have pictures of this, right?
Yes.
I love it. I love it.
Unfortunately, the Disney store is no longer there, but I think
we were like the only proposal there, I think, that they had ever gotten to plan.
I do remember when calling them, they were like, "Are you sure she's going to say yes? Because this might look a little weird." They were very nervous that like
she would turn you down.
Yeah,
that's so crazy.
Didn't
have to worry about that.
Yeah, I mean, we had all those conversations, and then when planning the whole, like, when are we going to get married, then we started realizing, we have lots of threes in ours. We also want to make sure that wasn't too close to a birthday, wasn't too close to a holiday,
right?
Because like my parents, they had to, like, long story short, my mom had to push her wedding back due to health reasons, and so
she had to move it up,
where it was closer to her birthday. So it's only 4 days away from her birthday.
Oh, yeah.
While it worked, it was very confusing for us growing up, and also for my dad to say, when is it your birthday or is it our anniversary? So I always wanted to make sure that I didn't want to be one of those people that forgot.
Mixes it up, right?
Mix it up or forget that it's our anniversary.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was like, this can be really easy. 3/3/2019.
Yeah.
So,
I don't think I can forget that. March 3rd. Yeah.
Even my parents.
Awesome.
And my birthday is April 3rd.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like we got married like 30 days from my birthday. There's so many threes. I think even our moms are 3 years apart.
Wow. So do you think threes are like something that God just used to like sweetly continue confirming things?
That's like my symbolism thing. Where it's,
made you feel more at ease and peaceful about it all.
Yeah.
Did y'all ever feel unpeaceful about y'all's relationship? Or anxious about it?
There was one time that you almost want. It was more just the parental situation.
There was that, yeah, my dad, even though I was 21, my dad treated me like I was a teenager. And even my mom, like, it wasn't until later that she said the reason she did it was health issues, but like she gave me a curfew of 10 p.m. when going to his parents' house, but he didn't get to our house after he got off work till 7 p.m. And so, like, trying to visit with his family, but also have a date, like, there was just no time and having to be back in the house by 10. It wasn't until later that she was like, well, my insomnia, you might wake me up and then I won't sleep. And I was like, well, if you would have told me that, I would have been like, oh, I understand. But, like, my dad put all sorts of rules. There was one time, like, I was hurting and didn't feel up to vacuuming. They wanted, like, the whole house vacuumed with the old school giant vacuum. And I was like, but Patrick was coming over for dinner. And he was like, well, if you don't feel up to vacuuming, then you don't feel up to having someone sit next to you and talk. Kind of weird stuff.
Yeah.
And so there was that. But there was.
Because you're exerting energy with the first one. The second one.
But it wasn't so much that I questioned the relationship. It was more like, how are we going to make this work if I'm like being told, oh, you can't see him until you vacuum the whole house, kind of weird stuff. But there was one time, the only time I really like questioned was I had opened up to Patrick about something, and it was like, it was a secret that really just the two of us should have shared. But being new to it, he told his confidant, which was his grandma. But it was that, okay, if I open up my heart and am more vulnerable than than I have been with anybody else, that has to stay between us. And so that was the only time I really questioned, because it was if you're willing to divulge so easily, what does that mean for the future? But it really was just a
one and done kind of thing.
Inexperience and not knowing. And you were very understanding and apologetic.
And it's, again, like it's a double-edged sword. That was our first real relationship, because you didn't have a whole lot to go based off of. Also, like, just knowing exactly what boundaries are, what's in the relationship, and you know.
And I'm sure you looked at your grandma as like older, wiser, like she could give me solid advice or guide me in the right direction. Like, not necessarily saying, hey, I just want to share this information.
It also goes back to, like, she asked a very direct question that I couldn't say yes or no.
Right. Your personality, it's just who you are.
Which it's like, no, that's us.
Yeah.
So
I did. It's the difference between like lying and misdirecting and being like, I'm sorry, I can't tell you that.
Yeah, because you have an answer for it now. Before, you were young and inexperienced about it, and you didn't know what that answer would be. Could I share? Could I not share? Now y'all established, no, it stays between us. So you have an answer. Like, anybody would ask you, no, this is my boundary. This is where I am.
And also him, like, understanding that, you know, while he's very logical and black and white, I'm an empath. And so it was like, okay, it wasn't just I told you a little secret and you're asked advice. It was I cracked my chest open and like let you inside to my very core being.
Only you, no one else.
And then you took that and threw it at someone else. Is the, like, I think kind of like the analogy I used. And it was like, oh, I understand now. Okay.
That's good.
It wasn't just a little secret. This was a like core, barely admit to yourself kind of thing. And so
that is a good analogy. That's a good way to express it.
And it's also like nothing against his grandma. She's
right.
the most wonderful lady in the world, but I didn't know her that well. It was only like 4 months. It was at that 4-month period. So like I thought he was the one, but I didn't know his family all that well. And it's like, whoa, I just had this major shift thinking you're the one, but now my trust has been violated kind of thing. But we did come out so much stronger for that.
Yeah, that's good.
It's lessons learned. And,
it's communication.
Yeah. And also not just like we both wanted it to work.
That's also a great point to continue.
It wasn't like we were both mature enough to say, we knew what we wanted, but we also were willing to put in, like, yes, if I would have reacted differently and like said, no, it's not really that big of an issue, and pushed down her feelings, sure, that would probably have been a deal breaker.
Oh yeah.
But when we're both listening, we're both trying to be better, which just comes with maturity.
Right.
Then we came out much stronger, and knowing, it's just a relationship became much better.
Yeah, I love it because, again, something that's a great reminder is the fact that you still choose each other. You have to choose him. He has to choose him. Sorry, he has to choose you. And so it's that constant choosing each other versus you just think, oh yeah, we've committed to each other. We like each other. The infatuation's there. It's like, no, this is a constant maturing, and making that conscious choice of, I keep choosing you. So that means respect. That means boundaries, whatever it takes to continue this on.
And there's actually a line we used in our wedding vows. There's people, there was and there is people in our lives where we love them, but you just don't like them because their behavior is borderline toxic or just not good to be around. And there's a line in Parks and Recreation that they said and used in their vows, which is, I love you and I like you.
Okay.
And that was like, we use that in our vows too, because it's not only do I love you, but I also like you. I like to be around you. I like the things you do. And I mean, there are times in our marriage where we don't like each other all that much, but there's always that love there. And so
I think that's normal too, though, right?
Yeah.
Like that's every relationship, sibling relationship, mother-daughter, father-daughter. Like at this moment, I don't like you. Or even yourselves, if you think about it, like there's been moments when you're like, I don't really like the way I acted today. I'm frustrated, but the constant choice of choosing each other. But I love it too because, we grew up, it sounds like, in that culture of I kiss dating goodbye and the purity, and it's just like you don't really want to date, and you're trying to decipher how does this work? How does it go down? But I also think that, like, lately I've been looking at podcasts and listening, and I think they have a lot of good content out there as far as like what you should look for. Like, don't kind of like what you guys did on the first date. It wasn't like a date make or break. It was just like, I mean, so far y'all have been nice to each other on text, but it was just another moment of, oh boy, at least we could be friends. And so I think that is crucial. Like if you can be friends with the person, like it, and that's always something I had on my list. Like I can sit down with someone and be like, I actually just enjoy you. I actually just like you. Like there's no infatuation. There's none of the things, but I enjoy your essence, who you are, all the things. And I feel like you feel safe with that person. But I think nowadays are a lot better as far as like what I'm listening to out there with the Christian content in dating and how to do it. Because before, I mean, I'm a lot older and I've been looking for stuff and I couldn't get out any information, what I felt was useful information. But now I feel like there's useful information like, Joe, there's no pressure, guard your heart. Just find out if you mesh well. Like you were saying that y'all mesh well. Like those are the things that are just very important that people tend to overlook and just put so much weight on. Is there the one, or I can't go out with them because I'm supposed to marry them, or, all the things, or even being fearful of like, am I going to mess up my life if I go on this one date with this person, or if I go on 2 dates with this person, or even say yes to a relationship, not knowing as you're trying to figure it all out. I don't know if that makes sense. But
Yeah, and especially when so many people in Christian relationships and lost relationships where they put a differentiation between spouse and friend. And your spouse should be your best friend at the end of the day. Like you shouldn't have a girlfriend or a guy friend that you go to more than your spouse. And not having that base of this is my best friend is, you're not going to last very long. And it's also, you don't want to put more emphasis on friend than spouse either. That's what happened with my parents, where it was my dad just like slowly friend zoned my mom and started looking for like spouse and companionship elsewhere. And it's like, no, you have to have both.
Mm-hmm.
And the verse that we used for our wedding is the one in Ruth where it says, I have found the one my soul loves. Like it should be someone that is your best friend that you've ever had, like a part of your soul. Like you can't even imagine not having that person.
Mm-hmm.
But so many people put companionship or, my spouse is like an accessory on their life.
And I get it. There's so many people out there that are looking for different things. But I think that a healthy one, I would think, is that is the goal.
Yeah.
I mean, can you live life with them? Can you, if you're miserable, your worst days, do you want to spend it with that person? Because they're a support, they're a help, but not just what they give you, but just the fact that y'all are both in it together. They're a great team player, a great teammate for you. Like, yeah, because some people are just looking for different things, and you can't fault that. But I think the people that are looking for something that is less than a true friend, I would think that maybe they don't understand what it takes to be in a marriage. Because once you're in a marriage, that's what you're looking for, right? Like, obviously, like people that you feel safe with, people that you trust, that's got your back, that's going to give you all that support that you didn't realize you needed, or even, that your dad sadly, was unable to give you, and you found a lot that God knew you needed. Yeah. So that's cool.
Yeah, everybody's looking for something slightly different. You want to impart values that should be a standard someone should follow when looking, not specific qualities. And I think people confuse specific qualities with values.
That's good.
There are values that every couple should strive for, but specific qualities are up to the person, and that's their prerogative to have different things they want. But there are core values that should always stay the same, especially in a Christian relationship.
100% agreed. 100% agreed. Well, that is an awesome story. Is there anything y'all want to say to wrap it up? But then also after that, like, what do y'all have any regrets, or like what would you do different? Now, maybe not regrets. What would you do different in the relationship? And if none, what would you tell anyone out there, like what you think you've learned? Or
I think the only thing I would really do different is I think I would do a courthouse wedding first and push wedding to after COVID with a bigger budget. Because long story short, like all the places we ordered decorations from fell through. Had to grab stuff at the last minute. It rained so bad that it started flooding on the day of our wedding. So our outdoor wedding was ruined. I almost didn't make it to the ceremony. And then we ended up in a tiny gym.
Wow.
And you could tell it was a gym. And our photographer like missed half the ceremonies. I don't know what they were doing. And so stuff like that, I think I would definitely do over. Like, go ahead and start life together. But and then just have a big party later. But the other thing I think I would do differently is like, I wish I could tell myself to, as weird as it sounds, like start comparing Patrick and my dad sooner. To be able to like recognize, oh, this is what a godly man looks like. This is what a man pursuing God and pursuing their partner looks like. And just be able to not only value, but be more cognizant of it. So that way, when my parents did split, realizing the stability I had in my life. Because at my mom's suggestion, we even tried like couples counseling to make sure none of the stuff from my parents' relationship like carried over. And we went to one, and they were like, if you're even concerned about it, you probably aren't carrying anything in. Like if you're worrying about it, but you have nothing to show for it, like no bad qualities, you're okay. And so
Mhm.
I wish I would have like taken time to be like, wow, we're so solid. Like we're
Mhm.
doing great.
Mhm.
Because that would have taken a lot of the mental stress off of myself. Um, but other than that, I don't really have any like regrets or do overs because I mean I found my best friend.
I don't think I have too many regrets of like our relationship. Um, everything that like we had to learn together was just we had to learn. Like early in the relationship, I mean, we had lots of. We already kind of mentioned it, but like we had a lot of things going on, COVID, divorce, and the family and stuff like that. So there's things that we all had to learn. Were the hard times, yeah,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
made us stronger.
Yeah.
I think so.
I think a good way to put it is like I wish for both of us that like we had recognized uh, how much things from our parents and past carried over into our adult life. I think is a better way to put it.
Hmm.
Being more like COVID really showed us to be more cognizant of mental health and
Mhm.
emotional health. Because growing up, it was more just physical and spiritual.
Mhm.
And then discovering, oh, there's like a mental and emotional aspect to it. I think being more cognizant of that earlier, um, we could have taken the time to really work through our individual issues to strengthen us together.
Yeah, because that was very true. Like my background is not very emotional, so it's learning all of that or just recognizing it.
Yeah, because you would close off and then like kind of release it in little bits, and that's how like my dad would deal with things,
Mhm.
which would trigger me because with my dad there would be an explosion later, and so I always
Like a
felt
passive aggressive kind of thing.
yeah, it would be kind of like passive aggressive and then like explode. And what we didn't realize was I didn't realize was basically verbal abuse, which is
Mm.
it's your fault and you shouldn't feel that way. And so whenever he would hold things in, it would feel like a ticking time bomb and that stress. And so I wish we could have recognized like, hey, like my dad's behavior was not okay. It's not your fault or
Mhm.
your mom's fault. It was a him problem. And then him recognizing that he can let out whatever he's feeling around me. Like
Mhm.
I will support and be there for him.
Yeah.
And that there's such a thing as a safe space to allow yourself to feel things.
Yeah. Nice.
But we eventually got there.
And
Just would have been
that's
nice
the
to
bottom
be
line.
shorter.
We're all learning, so we're not all perfect, and that's what we gotta recognize.
Yeah.
And we're not finished. We're work in progress
True.
forever.
Yeah, we'll make mistakes. We always gotta choose each other.
Yeah.
Well, thank y'all so much. I'll just ask you one last question. If you tell anyone out there, I want them to know, maybe into looking or waiting for, what would you tell them? And I know that's putting you on the spot, so if you don't have anything, that's okay. But like learning what your experience like, what would you just encourage them with?
I would say if you haven't found that person yet, don't think of it as a what is wrong with me and why haven't I found that person? Think of it more as, well, what is my next step to work on? Because it's my belief it's not that like you've done something wrong and God hasn't given you, it's that there's something you or the spouse hasn't worked through or worked on just quite yet, or that you're missing something in your life that needs to be there before you can come together. But putting it of the I'm doing something wrong or I'm just not good enough isn't true. It's just a like if you're looking at a manual, oh, I haven't done a step yet.
That's good.
And no
like
one's
that.
going to blame you for, oh, you haven't done a step in a manual yet.
Right.
Like, it's different. It's worse to try and skip that step and make it work without it
Mhm.
than it is to just be in that waiting period of, well, I might have missed a part and now I'm ordered it and waiting for it to come in type of thing.
I like that, Catherine.
But the what did I do wrong? That's just going to destroy you and get you further away from being ready for a relationship. And that's something I wish like I had learned in high school. Like, granted, I was young, but I was already thinking about marriage and the next step then. And so had I just been like, well, there's a step missing, I feel like I would have had so much more freedom. And not having that weight on you also opens you up to new experiences and meeting new people as well.
Yeah, good. Thank you. What about you, Patrick? You got anything?
It's more the same. Also, for me, it was, well, I wasn't looking for a relationship. And also intentionality. Like, if I would not have sent that text, we may not have been sitting here.
Oh, I love that. Say that again.
If I would not have sent that text just to see how you're doing, we probably would not be sitting here.
So initiative, guys. Initiative.
Yes. And especially if you're praying for that person in advance and let them know, the girls really go for that.
Yeah, that's it's all about intentionality. You have to, and again, well, that one wasn't looking for partnership; it was just friendship.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Because you can never have too many good, godly friends around you.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes, like you were saying, like if you're trying to look for a relationship, it may not work out. But if you're looking for good, godly, stable relationships, God can then mold that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think also is that if you don't hear from God, that's not necessarily they're not the one.
Okay.
Because sometimes it can be that you're not going to have that big like thunder, hear his voice, but he might be showing you in signs. Like, we had all the threes in our relationship. We were teased about essentially being the same person because we were so similar. His work meant that he could support me without me working. Like, sometimes he shows you in the little things, not big signs and wonders.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Well, thank y'all again for being my guest. I'm so appreciative. And until next time, thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.